All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning, and hopefully you had an amazing weekend. Good morning, Peter. I finally got that out there. It was taking me a bit. Good morning, Peter. How you doing today?
Well, is that because you had too good of a weekend, Carlos, and you're still recovering, or what?
I had a great weekend. Was on Long Island yesterday with the family and friends, and man, we came back a little bit too late, but definitely enjoyed myself, man. How about you?
Long Island. What do you go to Long Island for? What happens there?
A lot happens there, man. And the further out you go, the crazier it gets. We didn't go out too far, but on the actual island, which is pretty long. I mean, you think about Long Island, it is long. I mean, it's insane. But yeah, man, it's just yeah, the perfect name for it. But yeah, lots of fun. You got the beach there. We didn't go to the beach. Just stayed at a friend's house. Got a nice place there. Weather was brutal, as it has been here in the Northeast. But good times, man. Good times.
Okay,
Out
well,
in the
I didn't
Long
do
Island.
that. I spent the weekend once again, third time in a row, third different cottage. Look at this. This was my weekend. That's that's actually a
Beautiful.
panoramic shot of the lake I was at. So that's like the 360-degree view all in one shot there. So, and Janine, I did. So I'm gearing up for what is my year-long triathlon. So I got the swim leg coming up. I'll be swimming about 25 kilometers over a weekend. So this lake has I don't know, probably about a 3 or 4 kilometer circumference. So I swam all the way around the outside of it, and it was good. That was a Saturday afternoon after a big hike activity, and yeah, it was a great weather. Was perfect. It was like 30 degrees all weekend and sunny, and sorry, 30 is like, I don't know, what is that, 92 degrees, 94, somewhere in the 90s in your American Fahrenheit-ish. So yeah, it was a great weekend for me, and then I came back to crazy news. So let's start with some news that we have this morning, because we can jump right into this economic calendar. The only thing I'll note this morning, the Empire State Manufacturing Survey came out already. Came out a little weaker than expected. So I expected to see a decline of 6 points. It declined 6.6 points. So a little bit weaker. I see the market did nothing. So market didn't care too much. What the market will care about will be Powell speaking. 12:30 today. Different news reports are putting this at different times. So it's either 12 or 12:30. I'm pretty confident it's 12:30 because that's what Trading Terminal says. So 12:30, I think, is when Powell is actually speaking. You need to know this if you're in a trade at the time, because every time Powell speaks, the markets just have a high probability of doing something unexpected. Maybe in your favor, maybe against you, but you just want to be aware of it so that you don't get caught by surprise. So be aware, 12:30, Powell is speaking. And that's it. That's all we have for economic data so far today. Other than that, we're going to be looking at earnings. We're going to be looking at news. Obviously, news, maybe what's driving the market here today. We have a couple of earnings continuing with the banks this morning, and it's got to be the news. Carlos, I don't want to spend our entire time talking about this, but America is a crazy place to begin with. As a Canadian, I sometimes look south across the border and shake my head and say, "What's happening there, eh?" What's happening, eh? But with this assassination attempt, I don't know what's going to happen. But I've actually, so far, it seems to be decently managed. I'm a little surprised so far. Things haven't gone crazy, but I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it without getting weird or political. So we'll focus on the news. We'll come back to this because it interestingly has this weird little side impact on some of our earners today and some of the earnings reports. But that's a minor effect. Really, I'm mentioning it because if we're talking economic events, while this is not any scheduled event, you got to know this market will react if something big happens news wise today, right? Either the sitting president or former president makes a speech about this, if new news comes out, if it's determined that this was not an individual thing and is part of a larger plot, which it doesn't look like it is. But I'm a little nervous about the news because we've seen news cycles for this type of event, take the market in unexpected directions. So I just want everyone to be thinking about it in the back of your mind, no matter what trade you're taking. Be ready on the trigger, right? Don't leave things unless you've got good, solid stops in place. I just think we need to be extra careful in our trading today, just in case. I don't expect anything, but better be aware and be extra cautious today is just my advice to everybody.
Yeah, fully agree. I mean, the event that has taken place is crazy. I mean, I even have an ad here, not an ad, a news wire from who wrote this. I think I'm looking at it on my phone here. I don't have it up on the computer. But this is Tommy Gilmore. I think he's from Market Watch or something. So he's an analyst there, and he's saying Tesla stock is up, and not because EV fails, it's because Donald Trump is being endorsed by Elon Musk, right? So and then it
Elon,
goes on
yeah.
to talk about the shooting and all this other stuff. So there are some things that are going to move just based on this event, because it definitely was polarizing to see that over the weekend. I got to tell you, man, I was in New York City when it took place. It was Saturday, right? Saturday was, yeah, I was from New York City going from
Yeah.
Queens to into the city, and you could tell I was in the train when the news came out. Then I started watching the video. The train just got silent, and it was like an eerie
Really?
feel. I came out of the train by Bryant Park. If you guys know New York, Bryant Park, beautiful, busy area. Everybody was just quiet. Like you could tell this is not normal, right? So, and you felt that 9/11-ish type feel, right? After like, okay, what's really
Right.
happening, right? Because everybody remembers 9/11. Everybody was just like, we're lost, what's taking place. That was the kind of feeling, nowhere near that impact, but it was very, very close, at least for an hour or 2 hours in the city. Then things started to pick up again after there was rumors, okay, he's all right, nothing's going on. And the news, man, the news got to get it together. I got to tell you, because so many different reports. Somebody emails me,
Yeah.
oh, 3 people got killed. Oh, no, 1 people got killed. One lady got killed. One guy got killed. I'm like, there's just so, like, just wait until you have the data and then put it out there. But everybody's so worried about being first that they just put
First.
whatever out
Yeah.
there, just say, hey, we just want to be first. It's all about now, now, now. Take 2 seconds and just get it right. It's not that difficult, right? But
Yeah.
it's all about this new speed of information. It's just doing damage, right? And instead of good as sometimes. And it did definitely over the weekend, because it's just like, guys, get it right. Just get it right, you know?
I
But yeah,
can
it's
I think
insane.
feel like I should lend you my cardigan right now, Carlos. So
Yeah. Yeah, no,
for a rant
absolutely.
there.
I'll borrow it for a little bit. Yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild. But man, thankfully, no matter what side you're on, thankfully, Donald Trump is okay. I mean, we don't want that happening for any leader of our country, no matter what you think is good or bad. That is just horrible. You never think to see something like that live. So, and then you mentioned something really quick about the theories now, right? People are saying, oh, it was an inside job. Oh, he planned it for promotional purposes. I don't think nobody plans to get hit that close. I don't think you plan to do something like that. So just be careful out there. Um, it's going to be crazy the next couple of days, especially him now being in Wisconsin, I believe he is now. Security is going to be insane. I'm sure they're not going to get a chance to do that again. Whoever's trying to do this. But yeah. All right, excellent, guys. Let's get right back into trading. That's obviously affecting the markets. The markets are higher today because the markets are somewhat like Trump, better than Biden as far as
Yeah.
direction, right? Companies, he's more pro corporate, I guess, or pro business. So they
Yep.
tend to like his policies more. So that's why you're seeing the SPY up this morning, and that's obviously driving a lot of things up, including DJTW up this morning, big 74%, 46%. So that is, I haven't seen that yet. First, I'm looking at this gap up list, and there's a ton on here. We're not going to be able to get through all of them, but we will dive into at least the first 5 or so, and we'll see what's gapping down. That's not enjoying this rally that the market is getting today. So, yeah, let's get right to it, guys. Let's look at it. DJT. How long is this ticker? DJTW. DJTW. Is that it? No, there's more to it. So I'm gonna scroll this over and see how long this thing is. DJTWW. Have we seen this before, Peter? I don't recall seeing the DJTWW.
I have
DJTWW.
not. No. And
It's a first.
I don't I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I thought there was only one class of share. This seems to be a some warrants, and I know they were issuing new warrants. I didn't know they were tradable, so apparently they are. So DJT is the primary ticker we've been looking at. DJTWW again are those warrants that they've issued. It feels sort of like, remember when was it? No, it was AMC Theaters when they released the Ape shares, and they were under a separate ticker called Ape, and it felt like they were just making fun of the market, and it didn't last long. I feel like this ticker is probably not going to be around for too long. So if you're looking to trade Trump media, DJT is probably your number one place to go. You look at that; it's got over 13 million shares traded, as opposed to the DJTWW, which only has a couple 100,000. So the place to go is DJT. Look, it's getting volume because of the news we just talked about. Up or down ultimately, who knows? Right now, it is up significantly this morning on the news of the failed assassination attempt, and because there's no other news with this company. Why does the stock move up? Look, that's just public sentiment. That's the way it goes. Is there tradable opportunities on this? Maybe. Like Carlos said, it is hard to borrow, which means it's not shortable. So you can only trade it to the long side right now. Personally, I may get some popcorn and watch this, but it is not something that's going to make my prime trading list, to be honest, because I just it still doesn't feel like I expect it to be very jumpy, and it's again, to be very susceptible to news. So like I was saying earlier, if you're going to be extra cautious about the news, you got to be super duper extra cautious about this ticker. But it's moving, no arguing that.
Yeah, it is moving, and I don't like the way this trades. Even on news, we've seen news like this before drive it up, and it trades funky. It's not a great intraday trading stock for me, so I'm not going to be watching it today. I'm going to keep it over to the side there. So let's take a look over at SCNI. And if we're looking at this one this morning, SCNI, it looks garbage-like. So this could be the first garbage one of the day today. I don't like the daily on it. I don't like the pre-market action. It has 4 million shares traded. It is up 38% here. So pretty big gap up for this one. But again, Peter, usually these stocks don't trade very well. The float on this is a large one, actually. 1.4 billion is what I'm showing here, but still does not look great. Anything happening with this thing today?
Yeah. I don't SCNI. See, I'm showing some wildly different numbers here on the float, by the way, because I'm seeing less than 1 million shares in a different source. So anyways, we'll figure that out. But it doesn't really matter. This is an Israeli biotech. This is what happens on Monday, right? These biotechs often get news. They did release results of an early phase trial for some. This is a little creepy. A human skin model. So if you're into the creation of artificial human skin, maybe Sinai Immunotherapeutics, I can't even say it, is the company for you. But for me, I'm just getting a little creeped out, and I think I'll leave it alone.
Sounds like a plan to me. Moving on down to another one on here, guys. PHUN, which we also seen on our list plenty of times. Let's see what they got going on this morning. PHUN, it is up 30% today, 3.1 million shares traded on this one, and this is, I'm showing 7.9 million shares flow on it today. So big pop very early this morning. I mean, literally the minute the market opened, pre-hours here, this thing got going. So Peter, any news on this one driving it today?
No, well, this is related. This is always related to the Trump companies. Remember, it moves with it. So that's the only reason why it's jumping that here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So again, not one that I like here. So we'll skip on that one. Let's take a look at the next one. It's going to be HUMA. So HUMA this morning up 113%. Man, this looks like pure garbage. This right? No, I'm sorry. Up 11.3. Up 11.3 this morning, and only 255,000. This really shouldn't. There's a garbage truck. This really should not be on our list. I don't like it at all. So I'm definitely going to move on past it. Peter, unless you have something you want to share on Huma site, whatever this company does.
This is another I, I don't know what the heck is going on today. This is another biotech company, and they got some news that they've got a licensing agreement to develop like artificial human pancreases. Pancreases? How do you say pancreas in the plural? Pancreas. Anyways, what's happening? Why are we creating artificial human skin and pancreases and weird? I don't know what's happening, but apparently the cyborgs are coming for us, and they are going to imitate us and then kill us all. So, welcome to the end game.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not.
it's a
I'm
little
sure they have the
weird.
best intent. They're going to heal us all. Maybe I'll need it someday. Maybe I'll need a new pancreas, and then I'll be turning to this company, to Humacyte, and say, please, I will buy a pancreas from you.
There you
And
go.
but
You'll be walking around to 120 years old with no problem, probably still swimming and enjoying some lake time if we can get all these parts replaced at some point. Let's take a look here at the next one. It's going to be RUM. RUM this morning, up 9.9%, 738,000 shares traded. Man, it's are we rolling out the garbage truck this morning? Did we just get dumped with all these garbage tickers? I mean, there's nothing good here. Peter, I don't like this, man. I want to skip on it as soon as possible.
well,
I see the
it's
garbage truck coming in
it's
there. Anything
Monday.
good?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Monday. There's going to be a lot of these that happen almost every Monday, right? So, look, I like
Yeah.
Rum, but this is not that. This is Rumble, a software application company. They do have some. It seems like they're sort of. I'm trying to figure out if this is just everybody like jumping on the bandwagon, or if they're actually related to DJT here. It seems like they're in that same category, so that's why this is moving.
Oh, this is Rumble. This is that it says YouTube, like the other YouTube type platform. I think it is. I remember someone telling me about this. All right, yeah,
Yeah.
that could explain it. All
So,
right.
like I said,
So what
like
is
we
this?
said earlier, right? This assassination attempt news is going to affect a bunch of companies in weird ways, and it could affect the market. So again, I do think we got to be pretty careful today. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so there it is. There's that one. Here's another one, RVMD, which I never recall seeing this before. RVMD. Another one that just got going a few minutes ago. Revolution Medicine. So a lot of medicine and pharmaceuticals and other type companies in play this morning. This one's up right now 9%, 9.5, 487,000. The float on this one, not a low flow, is sitting at 200 and 137. I'm seeing here. But again, just I'm not interested in this at all. Peter, your take on it?
Look, they're making a treatment for non-small cell lung cancer that seems to have had some positive results. That's why it's moving this morning. But yeah, not going on my list.
Yeah.
I
All
mean, I
right. I'm
hope
going to
they're
stop in.
successful.
Yeah. Yes, a lot of these companies. I mean, you hopefully they'll make it, especially for the ones that get their phase one trial. They pop up, trying to cure cancer, trying to do all of this. But man, hopefully it happens in our lifetime. But we've seen the results more often than not. As
Yep.
they pop up and they slam back down. So hopefully it happens in our lifetime here. I'm going to skip down a little bit. I'm going to look at Bitcoin and we'll look at Tesla, which is all the way down here, and then we'll head over to the gap down list. So we're not going to be able to get through everything else on here. We'll have
Well,
Peter go over if anything that he likes on that list. But let's look at these two. Let's look at Bitcoin and Tesla. Starting with Tesla this morning, we're up 3.8, 3.6 million shares traded here. This will be in play. This will be on my list. Obviously, they've been trading very well over the last couple of days. They're getting tons of volume. If you look at it in the pre-market, volume started about a week ago. We've been seeing higher volume than we normally get. And you can see it on the daily as well. If you look at the daily closely here, where's my pen here? If you look at the daily, look at July. We've seen a very nice increase in overall volume, and that is trading very, very well in the market hours. So keep that on there. Peter, on Tesla, anything else you want to go over besides just this thing overall doing
well,
well?
look, news on Tesla often boils down to news on Elon and what crazy things he may be doing. Right after the assassination attempt, or very shortly thereafter, on X, Elon put out a tweet that said he fully endorsed Trump. So so that's just getting Tesla attention, like we're seeing DJT and Fun and some of these other related companies, right? So that's why I think we got to be careful, because will that sentiment continue? Again, it depends, and it depends on how susceptible this will be to any further news. So there's nothing going on with Tesla itself. I haven't seen any actual car company news. It's more about Elon, which has got this moving with a little extra volume. And we know this normally gets decent volume. It's just got a little extra this morning. We're only sitting about 3.6 million shares, whereas on a normal Monday like this, we'd be, Carlos, what would you say? Like about 1.5, maybe 2 million shares
Yeah,
would
1.5
would be about
or yeah,
normal. So
yeah,
yeah, so the volume's not extreme. So again, this is why I'm keep urging caution for everybody, just because you never know. How will the sentiment translate to when the heavy money starts to weigh in? Because that hasn't happened yet in the market, right? That only happens at the opening bell, and that can completely change the perspective of the market, or not, or it could continue it and accelerate it. Again, all of that will then be affected by anything new that comes out, and I fully expect at some point in the next couple of days there are going to be more statements made about this that will have a market impact. Will they happen during the market day today? No idea, right? But that's why we should be cautious and ready just in case they do.
yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, friends. This thing is still not working for me. This hashtag BTC. I'll figure that out later. Let's look at coin. We'll look at coin here, and Mara is on deck as well. I thought I also saw a rise. So, yeah, so all of them are up this morning slightly. If you look at coin, it is up 4.8 this morning, 379,000 shares traded. Last week, they had a little bit of a sell-off here. Mara also as well, you can see it here, nice sell-off, and then the recovery on Friday. And today, Mara looks really good, actually. 1.7 million, 5.8. I am going to add Mara to my list. They've been trading so sketchy. If you look at this daily here, look how bad it has been. But the last day or so, they've been getting a couple of really nice pops here. So I'll add Mara to the list. A coin, it could be a secondary, but I definitely like the way Mara looks this morning. Peter, as far as Bitcoin goes, anything good or just overall Bitcoin movement?
Well,
This
we
morning.
did see, like, this is what happens on the weekends. We talk about this pretty much every week, it seems like, right? Bitcoin prices actually jumped after this assassination attempt. How is that related? That's an excellent question, but and one that I don't think has been answered by anybody. But they definitely jumped. And we're seeing Bitcoin prices up back over 60,000, 63,000 almost at the moment, at the high end of that scale. And all that jump, of course, happened over the course of the weekend, because we closed last week down under 58,000. So a good move on Bitcoin prices here. Like I keep saying, during the course of the week, crypto doesn't move as much as it does on the weekend, and during the market day, it doesn't move as much as it does overnight. So I don't think that all of these are going to have much movement for us to play. Pick your one that you like: Mara, Coin, whatever, any one of these that you see on the list here, and watch it in case it gets some good movement over the course of the day today. But I have no particular expectation they're going to do anything magnificent in the next 6.5 hours. 7 hours for me.
Excellent. Uh, Peter, before we get to the gap down list, what do you like on the gap up? And we jump to the gap down list in just a second.
Well, you mentioned crypto, so that was on my mind. So we've already covered that. On the gap up, Goldman Sachs, I will mention that GS. One of the earners that I've been looking at, like the rest of the banks that we reported on Friday, they beat their numbers and had a good quarter. Haven't made any mention of what they're going to do next quarter, so no forecast change, which is why they're sort of moving on very light volume here and very little movement. Their earnings were based on their investment bank division doing a lot better, and people are saying it's very positive and good sign for the banking industry. So I think amongst the other news, Goldman Sachs earnings are sort of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit, but that was the biggest bank that was earning today. The only other one I'll mention, which I found interesting, BlackRock. BLK is the ticker on that. BlackRock had earnings this morning, and mixed picture. They missed on revenue but beat on bottom line. The weird thing about BlackRock, they were sort of had their press releases and announced that they're over 10.6 trillion in invested assets, which is great, I guess. The weird little piece of news is that they actually made a public statement saying the shooter who was taken down, whose name Thomas Matthew Crooks, the gunman in the assassination attempt, apparently appeared in a 2022 ad for BlackRock as an unpaid extra in the background. Apparently, there was BlackRock did something that was actually featuring a teacher at the high school from which he graduated in 2022, and he just happened to have been in the background. Seems very random, but again, it's just I find it odd because they came out very quickly and were able to identify that. And why feel the need to make that statement? Is it a protection thing? Is it a jumping on the bandwagon thing and trying to take advantage of that? Like I'm suspicious perhaps about their motivations, but it just seemed like an odd thing to release so quickly. I mean, I like to think that hopefully it's just being proactive and they just want to make sure that no one created conspiracy theories with them, and they said let's just put that out there in case anyone decides to suggest that there's something greater than just complete chance. I'd like to think that's the case, but who knows these days, right? But anyways, odd little statement from BlackRock on that. So those are the only two I had for the gap up list.
All right, excellent. Let's take a look at AVGO this morning, friends. This is up on our gap up list this morning, and I'm showing gapping down. This must have some kind of split, right? Is that what I'm seeing here? Yeah, it has to, going from 1700 down to 170. That's the only way to explain down. The 5-minute, the daily looks to have already been adjusted, and then it looks like this gap down is actually just data, right? So tomorrow this will be fixed if that is a reverse split, which is what I'm showing here, Peter. I don't see any other reason for this. Yeah, that's what it looks like. All right, so we'll skip on it tomorrow. This will not show. It's not really up 90%, down 90%. Let's take a look at M.
Right.
You gotta be careful with this, by the way. If you guys remember that Robinhood kid that unfortunately took his life, something like this happened to him where he had a position. Peter, I don't know if you remember this. He had a position, right? And I guess he logged in pre-market hours and something had changed or something had not updated. And he had this huge loss that he did not want to explain to his parents, like millions of dollars or whatever it was, or thousands. I don't remember the exact number, but it was not really that loss. It was just the unrealized P&L had not updated. This can happen to you on something like this, right? Because the data is still carrying over from the day before, hasn't updated yet. So just be careful. Don't go crazy if you see something like that. Make a call, wait for things to refresh, right? So it was a really sad story. It's a young kid too, man. Like I think like 20 something.
Yeah, he was.
So yeah, unfortunate. All right, let's see the next one on here. So we'll skip on that one. Next one is M. Macy's, Peter, down 12.2 this morning, 897,000 shares traded. This thing is taking a slight drop this morning. Any news on Macy's? I thought we already had earnings on them. Maybe not.
Well, yeah, there's been lots of talks over the years about them going private, about a merger or integration. They were last talking with Arc House Management and Brigade Capital, talking about going private, and apparently they've stopped those talks. So the deal basically fell through. So basically they're going to continue trading unchanged as they are now, and you can see the stock price drop. Pretty modest drop, actually, considering often they get hit a lot harder when these types of deals fall through. So it feels like this is not going to be a great trader over the course of the day. Macy's is a tough trade any day. It might be worth watching just in case it gets some slow, steady movement here, but I'm skeptical about it.
Yeah, I have a hard time trading Macy's, but I like what they're doing today. If they continue picking up volume, they seem to want to even go lower right now. It looks actually rather weak, down 13%. So I'm going to add this to our list here. There is Macy's down 30%. We'll see how that looks like in a couple of minutes here. SEDG is another one that makes a list more often than I would like. This is Solar Edge Technology. I don't like the way this thing trades or the price action on it or even the volume. So I'm going to skip on it, Peter, unless you have something to share worth mentioning on Solar Edge Technology.
Nope.
All right, moving on down to the next one, Run. So Run this morning, it is down 6%. This is Sunrun. So we got a couple of solar energy things on here because Run is another one. SCDG is one as well. What is in the DV? Is this another one too? Is that whole
Well,
sector just taking a
I
little
guess
bit
I
of a
have to
dive?
mention them if there's yeah, if there's two on here. Um,
Yeah.
Solar Edge, I think Sunrun is just a sympathy play on Solar Edge. Like I'll just mention quickly. Uh, Look, there's two things happening. Solar Edge actually announced that they're cutting some jobs. So that's not good news. Also, I think it's just it's a knock-on effect, sort of the opposite side. Certain stocks are getting a pump if they think that Trump's chances at the presidency again are higher. Solar companies, as you can imagine, would be going down if Trump is seen as suddenly jumping to the lead of that because he's never been supportive of this sector. So, yeah, I think it's just getting a dual sort of hit. Again, I don't think they're going to be tradable. I think the momentum on this is very slight, and it's not worth paying a lot of attention to. But that's what's going on.
Yeah, it is. So I don't like the way these two trade anyway, so I'm going to skip on them and we'll head down to the next one, which was XBEV. XBEV making the list this morning, gapping down 4.2. But this just seems regular XBEV up and down nonsense that really doesn't mean it's in place. So we see this almost every day now with XBEV. So I'm going to skip on it. Tesla will be the EV that I'll be looking at today. Peter, anything you want to share on that one?
I will mention XBEV doesn't have some direct news, but there was some news. BYD, which is like the biggest, you know, the biggest EV car company in China that we don't trade. We trade everything else but BYD. But BYD had some news over the weekend that was positive to it that against its competition that could be taking some of these down a little bit. But again, it doesn't mean they're tradable. We talked about this before. Like XPEV, Neo used to love to trade those companies. LI, right? They were great. Not so far, not in the last, I don't know, 2-3 years. They just have not been good to trade, which is unfortunate because they were a lot of fun when they were riding high. But those
Yeah.
days seem to be well behind us.
Yeah. All right, and we'll look at Baidu and we'll stop it here, guys. Baidu this morning, we are down 4%. They had a couple of really nice pops in the last week, right? So you can see they're going from 87 to 94, all the way to 104, got really toppy here, and now coming back down after a sell-off on Friday. So this could be good for a continuation play today, right? If this momentum continues towards the downside, you might see more of a sell-off here happening on Baidu. It is down 3.9 and 397,000. I like it as a secondary, so I'm going to add it on there. I'm going to take a look at BABA because BABA is usually what I like to trade when it comes to Chinese tickers. It's down slightly, 1.7, not much volume. I don't think it's really in play. Baidu seems much better with more potential here, but we need to see the volume come in at the market open. Right now, not looking all that great as you can see there. So going to skip on the rest of that for now. And Peter, anything on the gap down you want to go over?
No, I didn't have any gap down stocks this morning. Most of the market was looking sort of positive. I mean, maybe I should just mention a couple of the bellwether tech stocks are gapping down slightly. So if you look at the Microsoft, Meta for Amazon, Netflix, right? They all seem to be gapping down. Google a little bit this morning, but nothing major there. I think we're going to see a relatively normal morning on those again pending news. I'll keep mentioning that because I just want people to be thinking about the news. Whether it's a very low probability that it'll happen, but if we do get like some major news release, let's say for example, again, someone takes to a podium and decides to talk more about this assassination attempt in strong terms, we could see the market start to go a little wonky, right? So I'm very conscious of that because we've seen it before. I'm still scarred both emotionally and financially from the Trump presidency era because you remember every time he would tweet, the markets would do like something just wacky. So I guess I'm a little afraid
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
happening again this morning. It might not, but if it does, I just want to be ready.
Yeah, yeah. Be on your toes, my friends. It was a crazy, crazy time. Yeah, the market could pivot. It was not just only Trump. It seemed like any little tweet, because Elon was very active during that time, and any little thing, like the market would just react. I don't see that happening
Yeah.
as much now as it did back then. Back then, Twitter was just it's like it was controlling the market now. So hopefully we're past that because yeah, it did mess up a couple of moves at times. And in some cases, hey, creative volatility for some people. So we'll see how it goes. Um, everyone was on home board. Yeah, that too. We cannot forget that. Everyone was at home board, sitting on money, right? And just say, hey, let's go long, let's go short. It's just going off a tweet. So I don't think we have that
Yeah.
crowd hanging around anymore. But yeah, anything can happen. Like Peter said, just be careful. All right, let's take it to the chat room. See what you guys like this morning. I do have Apple on here, so I'm going to add Apple on my list. Apple hitting all-time highs right now. I mean, this stock is trading so well. So I will add Apple to my list as well. Looking at our over on our BBT chat, Ben's giving us Apple. Yes, absolutely. Apple's going on the list. Looks very good this morning. We look at, of course, our good buddies, AMD. AMD's back in action. AMD took like a bit of a break here. Now they're back into the swing of things, and as you can see here, the last couple of days, Peter, they've been crushing it, man, and they've been doing very well. Even on this range that they're stuck in, it's almost a $10 range from weeks to weeks here. So that's a really good move you have in there as well. And right now, looking to go higher with almost 1 million shares traded. So I like AMD. I'm going to add them to my list. So thank you for that. Who mentioned that? Bank Rags here. And you also have NVIDIA. We'll look at NVIDIA next. NVIDIA is
Yeah.
fun to watch, right? I haven't traded it in some time, but it's fun to always keep on deck. It's like the darling of the entire AI situation here. So I am going to add it on here. There's NVIDIA this morning, and we'll see if it can give us anything good so far. It's got volume. It's got 6 million shares traded this morning, up 1.6. So definitely should be on our watch list. Google has good volume. Yeah, Google's good as well. And my issue with that one is I just don't like the way the intraday action is on Google. I prefer to watch something else. Rarely do I trade these guys, but if you do like them, they do have a little bit of volume here, and they are down this morning. So definitely take a look at that one. Over in our YouTube chat, if you haven't done so already, friends, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. Really appreciate it. We are sitting at 143 likes. We'd love to be at our goal around this time, around 300. So if you can help us get there, that would be great. Help us get to 300. Me and Peter really appreciate it. We'll start with Carry On. He is giving us RCL. Man, we used to trade this ticker quite a bit. No, I don't see anything going on here. You got that right, RCL, Royal Caribbean. I don't like it. There's really nothing happening right now. If you have any news that you probably read or saw, you might just need to wait for the market open to see how that news is going to react. But I'm not seeing anything there. I'll look at Carnival just for fun. What's the Carnival ticker? How did I forget this? Carvan, not the Carnival. CCL. Oh, how can I
CCL?
forget CCL?
CCL?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my goodness. All right, so CCL here, guys.
How
We
can
are
they forget?
pretty. Yeah, how could we forget? This ticker was so good to us. CCL, no, nothing happening there. So yeah, I don't see anything happening with the overall cruise lines at the moment. Carry on. So I'll keep it quiet for now. You have to wait for the market open or CRL. I do see the daily looks interesting. You've been climbing higher and higher. I just don't know how this intraday action looks because look at this. You're trading less than 2 million shares for the entire day. So although you are moving higher, I'm not sure how explosive the intraday action is. It all depends on what strategy you're trading when it comes to those. All right, what else, friends, over on YouTube? Let's see, Tesla, NVIDIA, we do have SMCI, another one that you can take a look at. I have an AMD and NVIDIA already on my list, but this is another AI 70 that you can also put on your on deck if you do like this one as well. All right, perfect. We will stop here. One more from our buddy Andrew D. PLTR. Let's see, PLTR this morning. Volume is okay. We've seen better. Daily looks interesting, right? We kind of slamming into the recent highs here on the daily after a good day on Friday. If you have the space, could be a good one to watch. And if you like the ticker, if you traded before and you've been somewhat successful on that one, you could definitely put that on deck. I won't be watching it because I just don't have a lot of success when it comes to trading this PLTR. So I'll skip on that one. All right, Peter, let's go to you. Let's go over to our community events and announcement happening on this week.
I love. Sorry, I just back on Royal Caribbean. I love that they mentioned it. And that doesn't look like a good trading stock today, but just checking it compared to the other cruise lines, Royal Caribbean made an amazing bounce back. Whereas Carnival and Norwegian. NCLH is the other one that we would always look at. So there's always three in the cruise sector. Those other two, if you took a long-term position in those, didn't do so well. But RCL, man, great return on that one. If you invest in that, you're like 5 times your return. So if you look at sort of a 4 or 5 year chart, it's pretty impressive how that one has rebounded. Anyways, there we go. All right, so we got comments there on both YouTube and in the room about it. Carlos, sorry, I got lost. What are we doing?
Oh yeah, we're doing announcements. Announcements for this week.
All right. Well, we're going to keep it short here. This week, we've got a full slate of activities. Tonight, we have our onboarding class. We actually have 2 classes today for those that are new. So basically 2 onboarding type classes. The first one is all about DAS setup. So if you use the DAS Pro platform, it's a great platform. It's great for trading, but it's not always easy to figure out. So Brandon has agreed to come and help us with this and is going to give us a sort of a course and answer some questions on how you can effectively set up DAS. That will be in the webinar room at noon today. All right. So it's his first class too. So let's go support Brennan, jump in there and give him some love for that class at noon in the webinar room. Like I said, for all of our elite members, actually every member can get there, whether you're elite or just an intro member or a basic member, everybody can get access to this class. So hopefully you will jump in and check it out. And then if you want the regular onboarding, which helps you get oriented with the Bearable Trader community and everything you get out of our offerings here, then join Carlos specifically at 8 o'clock tonight for that in once again the onboarding room. All right, so 2 classes for you today. Tomorrow, just very quickly, it's always strategy and trade book sessions, and we're going to be talking with Pierre. He's going to be leading us in a session about what your ultimate guide to trading success is. Great topic, great session. Love the title. So that'll be happening this Tuesday. So tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Pay attention to that. And the next week, we're going to slip back into an options mode and talk about options with Joe, who's a new presenter for us as well. Joe Wilson's going to be presenting Tuesday, July the 23rd. So put those in your calendar. Wednesdays are psychology. And this Wednesday, I think Mike is leading that session. And Mike's going to be talking about how strategy is a key element to mastering your trading psychology. That is 2 days from now, this Wednesday, July the 17th at 8 p.m. And then our psychology webinar for the week after on July 24th is Randy Howell back with us about mastering your mind. Thursdays we do Thursdays we do mentorship every Thursday. We've got 4 sessions for you, 11 with John, 2 with Jared and Megan on options, 4 with Lenny, and then at 8 p.m. with Thor. So 4 great sessions for you on Thursdays. Hopefully you will be there for that. Now, if you want a little talk in the market, something new for you, by the way, because we stay live through the market open. I'll mention right now, and we'll talk about it later. If you miss the Engineering the Markets, it's a segment that happens only for our chat room members every morning. Well, Monday to Thursday, Jared does Engineering the Markets, where he talks about how the market's setting up and what you can expect for the week. It's always a great session. We're going to do a little bit of a recap of that. We're going to bring Jared back at around 10 o'clock today, and he's going to talk about the markets, his perspective on the markets. And hey, he'll have half an hour of live data to talk to you about and what's happened so far and how that incorporates into his view of what's going to happen. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be pretty good. That'll be half an hour after the market open at 10 a.m. So stay tuned. All right. All that being said, tradingterminal.com is a place I want you to visit. Please go check it out. Great news, great information. Hey, you want to know what's happening with the latest happening out there in the markets or the news in general or the economic calendar, or heck, you can even trade using a simulator or replay any stock on any day with the replay mode, or get stuff to learn. Look at all the things you can do at tradingterminal.com. Check it out. It's a place to go. So all right. There you go. All right. We got some levels to set. We're running a little behind because we had a lot of good talk about market movements here today. So Carlos, why don't I hand it back to you?
All right. Excellent. Yeah, man. Lots to cover today as we're getting into this week. Let's look at Tesla, Mara, Apple, AMD, and NVIDIA is what I like so far right now. These are doing very, very well. Again, our list is massive, and we probably went through too many on here, and they got a lot of garbage stuff on there as well. So just make sure you do your due diligence on that. Go ahead, Peter.
You got to set some levels for DJT just because it's moving so much. But
Oh yeah, let's set. Yeah,
if
I
you have
agree.
time,
DJT. Let's yeah. We'll put it on here. I'll put it on my secondary, but I will get two levels on it. Again, I don't like the way it moves. But today's unprecedented, man. What's going on? So
right?
today could be a day where they actually do something very nice. They're up 54%, 15 million shares traded. Yeah, this stock is in play. All right, let's look at Tesla here, friends. Tesla high of the pre-market this morning. We're sitting here at a 262.09, so we'll slam one there, and then towards the bottom, we're sitting at 255.88. So we'll slam one there as far as highs and lows for Tesla this morning. And then once you do that, you don't have to do much more because you are surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days on there. So a pretty good job on the daily for Tesla. You're all set there. Here it is, Mara this morning. We're going back and we're looking at the high of the pre-market is going to be 22.39. We'll slam one there and then touch the bottom. The low is going to be at 21.71. That's a good area for us on Mara. And then below that, guys, highs and lows for the last two trading days, doing an incredible job. So you don't have to do anything else up here. Now towards the top, we're looking at 22.83. And then also up here, we're looking at 22.95. So pretty good levels here on Mara. Again, it's known for trading very choppy right on the daily here. Hopefully today we can get some good action out of it. We do got some great volume, 1.8 million right now getting into the market open is pretty decent for Mara. Apple, guys, just look at this stock. Where does it end? It just continues to inch higher and higher. Right now, the high of the pre-market on this thing is set to 235.59, which I believe that is your all-time high as well. So then we're really up there this morning. And then we have 232 is the low of the pre-market, surrounded towards the bottom by the highs and lows of the last two trading days. And once you do those two, there's really nothing else to add when it comes to Apple. Let's take a look here at AMD. AMD this morning, if we look at this one, I'm going to remove some of the older levels that are being overlapped now by our new levels. Look at the highs and lows for the last two trading days here and here, right? It's just kind of stuck within this range, right? But it's a nice range. AMD has really got some more volume. We're going from 170, let's call it 177, 178, all the way up to almost 188. So really nice range there as well. Let's look at the high of the pre-market is going to be 184.66, and then towards the bottom we do have 182.50. Once you do that, you're looking pretty good on AMD. Next is Nvidia high of the pre-market at the moment 131.50. They got tons of volume today, again almost 6.2 million shares traded, and the low of the pre-market 129.01 for Nvidia. Excuse me there. And yeah, you're pretty set when it comes to Nvidia. Again, a lot of our usual suspects making on my list today, but I do definitely like Apple. I do like Tesla today. They're looking pretty good. And we cannot forget DJT, friends. This thing is in play. The volume is massive, over at 16 million. High of the pre-market this morning, 54.54. We'll slam one there. Then towards the bottom, 34.24. We'll look to the left to pick up some levels here. That's going to be right where the price action is. I'm going to draw a line for you here. That's the level as well. So this 46.94-ish area, you can tell how much resistance and support we have right around here. So I'm going to mark that down. And then towards the top, we have a level at 49.72. And then towards the bottom, 42.01. So I'm going to mark those two on DJT and then see how this action plays out today. All right, friends, let's take it over. Peter's going to walk you through our moderators list. I see them all set up this morning. Let's see what's happening there.
Yeah, our moderators are getting all their lists in, and we can see a lot of commonality here. Starting with Pierre at the top, who's got Nvidia, Tesla, Mara, and Apple. So watching a little Bitcoin, watching a little semiconductor stocks, and of course, like you mentioned, Carlos, man, Apple, man, what's going crazy? Lenny, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Macy's, PLTR, and Donkey Kong, DKNG on his list as well. Not one we talked about. Thor is watching Nvidia, Disney, Tesla, Megan, Apple, Disney, Mara. You're seeing some overlap here, right? A lot watching Mara today, so you might want to keep that in mind. Jared as well watching Mara, and Neo. Neo's a new one. We talked about that. Not my favorite trader, but there it is. On the secondary list, we've got DJT and Nvidia for Jared. I'm going to be watching myself, AMD, Tesla, and Apple. Although on my secondary, I've got Nvidia, Goldman Sachs, GS, Macy's, and DJT for fun. Although now I'm considering adding Mara just to see what everybody's waiting for on it. And Brendan is going to be watching AMD, Nvidia, DJT, Tesla, and Amazon. Eamon, only one potential long here with Meta. And Eamon's very selective in his stocks, so you pay attention to that. Susan is going to be looking at Apple, AMD, and Mara with a secondary list of Amazon, Carnival Cruise Line, CCL, Google, and Oxy. Still deciding on that one. Interesting. Mike is watching NVIDIA and Apple. And last but certainly not least, our famous Brian Pesum will be trading live with you today. AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla, DJT. I mean, you think you got to take a look at it. And he's been influenced. He put Mara on his list as well. So there you go. A lot of overlap there. I said I think I should be watching Mara as well. I don't want to miss the fun, right? But I know the room will let me know if anything exciting happens with it. So I guess I probably don't really have to worry. While you were doing the levels, Carlos, I was looking for something you talked about earlier. Long Island is a Long Island. Totally not stock related here.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just looking. It's
It's
from the
pretty
Newark
long.
airport. If you were to drive out to Sag Harbor, it's a 3-hour drive. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
at highway speed.
No,
That's
it's
farther than
named
I thought.
properly, man. It's longer. It's longer than New York City by miles. I mean, this is Manhattan here.
Oh
Let me
yeah,
just give you an idea. This is Manhattan right here. Look how long
yeah.
this is.
Yeah.
It's
There you go.
and that's without traffic, Peter. Traffic here on all these routes that go east, it's brutal.
Imagine.
I don't know how if you live
Yeah.
here, I don't know how you make it to the city. Yeah, they have trains, but it's brutal, brutal.
Well, look at that.
And then here,
Salt water added
yeah,
from the room is in Sag Harbor. So then you know the pain.
yeah.
Probably that's why you trade from out there, because you don't want to have to go into the city. I don't blame you. So
Oh yeah, you got all the traders now, especially during the summer. They're in their East Hamptons, houses and stuff like that. Yeah, they're not traveling into the city, unless to the point where you're doing by helicopter. You're not going in there. It's just brutal. So, but yeah, that was it was pretty nice. Really, really Long Island. I mean, if you look
yeah.
at it, does it almost go to Massachusetts to Boston? No. Yeah. Look, this is the borderline of what going to Massachusetts is, and this is all Connecticut here. So it's massive. It's massive.
There you go. All right.
All right, friends. All right, we're getting set. 6 minutes to the market open. Brian's going to be trading in the chat room today, so we'll tune in with him for the market open and see how he's doing there. And can you show your list once? Yes, my list here is right over here. Is Tesla, Mara, Apple, AMD, and Nvidia. We could show you that if you want as well. There it is. And I do have DJT on my secondary here as well, alongside Baidu, which Baidu could be a good one. Macy's and Macy's keeps dropping. We should have done levels for Macy's. That's also dropping some more here. So that could be very, very interesting. So yeah, there you have it, friends. Remember today, stick around. We're going to go to the market open. We'll tune into what Brian is doing in the chat room, and we'll also be looking at 10 o'clock. We'll have Jared coming in and giving us an overall look of what he's doing. Also, for those that don't know, on YouTube, we do pre-market engineering the markets every single morning, except Fridays. Although it seems like lately he does a lot of the Fridays, does almost every day, which is nice.
Well, he's got lots to talk about. He loves to share his knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been jumping on Fridays as well.
Yeah, we definitely enjoy that. So, friends over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, sitting at 254 likes, help us get to 400. We have 626 viewers on this morning, so thank you for joining us today. But yeah, definitely help us get to 300, 400. Really, really appreciate you guys doing that and all the support. So, very, very nice.
I will just mention before we go over live to our live trading crew, if you want to join us at Bearable Traders, we'd love new members. The chat room is open all day, so long after the YouTube feed shuts down. We trade live right through the market close. And then when there's earnings, we'll often trade after the closing bell as well, just on those high-profile tickers. If you want to join us, we've got a number of membership options, from the intro offer that just gives you 1 week access. That's a great way to just get introduced to the community and see if it's a place you want to hang out during your trading day. We've got our basic or elite monthly packages, and of course the elite annual. You can find all the information for those on our website at bearabletraders.com. So I just got to mention those for you so that you know where to go if you want to join us. We are more than just the YouTube. We are live here in the room, and it's great value for active traders. You just need one recommendation, right? One little hint, all those thousands of eyeballs that are trading like you in that room to get value out of that, let alone camaraderie and the conversation that you have. I love it. This is why I'm here, and I've been here for years, because it's a great place to be. So hopefully you'll check it out, bearbulltraders.com. All right. So let's get going live. I think, have we got some of our live traders? I know Brian's got his list in there. I'm sure Brian's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Brian is going to be getting ready to go in just a second. His list here, to remind you guys: AMD, Nvidia, Tesla, DJT, and Mara. I mean, that's my list. That's exactly my list. So I'm glad we're seeing things the same way this morning, or maybe he just copied my list, and that's good as well. That's perfectly fine. All right, so there it is. Brian's going to be going live in the chat. We'll tune into him in just a second here and see how he is doing, and then we'll come back in a few minutes.
Good morning.
Brian. Morning, Brian.
I am having trouble connecting with the other system, so I'm just going to have to hop on here.
I see. Okay. A little trouble connecting out to the YouTube system. So
yeah, I don't
see
think
what we can do.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's on my end. And I just, we're running out of time here. I'd probably have to reboot my computer, and that would take more than 2 minutes. So we'd miss the open. So, yeah, so I'm going to have to just broadcast in the room this morning.
All right. Well, then we'll do our best to keep
YouTube
updated on what's happening. Since
I am, like I said, I don't have. I've got a problem with my computer right now. I had everything unplugged when I was traveling last week, and that was. I think that's probably part of the challenge, the issue. So we got a fair amount of selling going on right now.
1 minute to the open.
The last minute before the open. Tesla dropping. Let's see, what else have we got here? Apple's going the opposite direction. And Nvidia's dropping a bit. AMD's dropping a bit. So we'll keep an eye on what I'm going to focus on. I'm actually thinking about maybe Macy's, but I don't like Macy's just because NYSE stock. It's a big order on Tesla at 255. And here we go. Ding, ding, ding. Ooh, just watching Tesla here. Wow. Just selling off like crazy. Just down at a point of control here. Let's see. What are we doing?
Hey, Brian, if you're watching Macy's, everybody, wait for that volume to come in.
Yeah, Macy's. Mara dropped a bit. See what. Okay, so now we're getting a little choppy here. Let's see what Apple decides to do. We really had a pretty significant pullback on Apple. Still waiting for Tesla to do something. Let's pull off a little more down here. So I'm long some Apple. Let's just see here. Came down, touched the View app. Let's see if it can move up here now. It's like Tesla's getting a bit of a bounce as well. Looking for this 236.60 level. Here we go. Just sell just a little bit. 266, 236.70. All right, here we go. Apple still long here, looking for 237 now. Yeah, AMD is dropping here. NVIDIA is bouncing back a little bit. You can get to 237 on Apple here. There we go. Sold some more. Yeah, NVIDIA's coming back up. Tesla's still looking weak here. Pull back on Apple now. Came close to stopping out there, but it's still holding the VWAP and the 9 EMA. Still above the VWAP and the 9, so we'll stick with the rest of it to see if still got some buyers there, although it's starting to get a little bit choppy here. Qs and SPY look like they're getting ready to break out here. SPY already is. Come on, Apple. Brandon long NVIDIA. Yeah, I could have taken it on that pullback there. That would have been a nice entry. Tesla's bouncing back now. All right, we are 5 minutes into the trading day here. Still long some Apple. I'm sticking with it just as long as it stays above the VWAP here. Already got some profits taken, so can afford a little bit of slippage if it drops back down. Ooh, NVIDIA just rejected hard. Wow, AMD is heading to, she's heading to the rhubarb patch. Look out.
All right, guys. So there you're seeing Brian trading live this morning. He had us a couple of trades already. He did trade Apple. So if you look at Apple, it's moving a bit here. Overall, the market hasn't really moved a ton, right? So it's kind of stands still at the moment. If you look at the overall SPY, we're just kind of hanging out here trying to decide what's next. Again, after such an impactful weekend, things are just kind of settling down and trying to see what's next for the overall, at least for the financial market right now. Let's take a quick look at the stocks that we have. So we had Tesla, which seems to be moving. It's above the pre-market now. And this thing is hot, man. It should be going. Had a beautiful drop. We should love to see this here. And now look at the comeback. It's closing above the VWAP. This would have been an amazing opening range breakout on the 5-minute. I missed it. I'm doing other things this morning. But look at how beautiful that was. And it is breaking out towards, I believe, wants to go maybe towards the high of the pre-market. That is at 262. Volume is coming in. 4.8 million on that first candle, and now almost 2 million on this candle. Man, this is going. So that is trading nice. Let's take a look at the 1 minute just to get a cleaner, more fine-tuned picture here. And this looks beautiful. Look at the VWAP right here, which a lot of you guys, if you don't trade the VWAP, we talk a lot about this in our education center. So definitely take a look at that. The Mr. Doo took it as a 5-minute ORB. Awesome, man. That is a great trade there. Look at it. Look at the confirmation you get, right? So if you miss this pop here, you get a nice pullback, and that is trading awesome this morning. Guys, if you've seen my live trading, if you're seeing any of my webinars, this right here is one of my perfect 5-minute ORBs. I do that trade every single time. So glad you took advantage of that there. So let's take a look at some other ones here. Mara also starting to move up. Seems things are starting to go towards the north side of things. Mara also volume coming in, also above the VWAP. Apple though, Apple's heading the opposite direction. As you can see here, Apple below the VWAP at the moment. Let's see if it can find some kind of support. Not a great start for them this morning. So, but Brian is taking advantage of this trade. He's got a couple of trades on already this morning, so he's taking advantage pretty nicely here. But Apple showing some weakness. Next level I have on Apple is going to be towards this 232.50, which is the low of the pre-market. And we are starting to drop even some more on here. Mr. Du says, I started trading the 5-minute RB because of you, Carlos. Man, I'm glad to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that. It is such a great strategy. You got to be patient with it because you don't get it quite often. And there's stretches where it's brutal. But I'm so glad you're taking advantage of that. AMD, also Brian mentioned AMD as well. I'm not sure if he got into AMD. But look at AMD is just losing it as well. So big drop for them this morning, down at 183, and then continuing all the way down to 181. And it looks like AMD is going to go red. So AMD is just battling right there with the previous day close. Let's see if this can become somewhat of support this morning. I'm going to look at the daily and see what we have going on here. Yeah, AMD, as we mentioned in the pre-market, right, it's been struggling here and it's also struggling down at the bottom. Just this range, but it's a nice range. Like if you're able to catch, not from top to bottom, but anywhere in between, like if you can catch some of this area here, you're doing good. It's a big move, and it's been trading very nice, especially with the volume we've been getting lately. So CompuCare caught AMD and also Nvidia, and then Puppet Master cut Tesla. You guys are doing awesome, so excellent. Let's take a look at Nvidia. We have not looked at that yet. So Nvidia, so it looks like all semis just taking a bit of a dive this morning. Nvidia also pulling back a little bit. We saw a lot of weakness, actually the entire month of towards the end of June. If you guys remember that big drop, went sideways for a little bit, try to recover early July, and big slam. This was last week. When was it? After the holidays? I can't remember when it was, but big slam last week. And then look at this here, just kind of trying to hold on a little bit on Nvidia. All right, the big elephant in the room is obviously DJT and everything that's going on over the weekend in the news. And just, again, many people are still somewhat in shock that this has taken place. I'll tell you this much, that won't be happening again. Security is going to get it right this time. So here it is, DJT. It's down 30, up 33%, but down from the market open. Volume continues to come in. And this is why I don't like this stock, right? It doesn't trade very well. And also, most times I look at it, I cannot short it with Interactive Brokers, right? Interactive Brokers, no shares for sure on it. So that just kind of puts you handicap here. You cannot take advantage of this move that's happening right now. So it's a waste of time if you don't have inventory to look at a stock like this. So I always end up putting it on my secondary list here. So SPY right now pushing higher, but many of the tech things going lower besides Tesla, right? You got Mara. You got AMD and Nvidia trying to find some kind of support here. Let's see if they can pivot, because if you look at the SPY right now, you are pushing a bit higher into that all-time high, right? SPY continues to break the all-time high here in the last couple of days. So let's see if they can do that one more time. All right, friends, remember, we're going to have Jared at 10 a.m. today coming in. He's going to talk a little bit about what he's doing and some of the stuff he has for us as far as data. And then let's tune into Brian. I see Brian is in. He is looking at. Just want to check what he's looking at this morning. Right now, no, he's in Apple, and I'm not sure if he's still in that, but we'll find out. He's looking at Tesla. So let's see if he has done anything with Tesla right now, and then we'll come back and see how the overall market is doing.
On the scanner, man, it's ripping. All right, what did everyone else trade in the room this morning? Let's take a quick boo here. Oh, Tesla. You got Tesla as well. Nice. Good trade, Milad. What else did you get? Same thing with Joseph. Way to go. Okay, Tesla's coming down now. AMD's bouncing. Yeah, I don't have a lot of Tesla left, so so we'll just see what it does here. If it really starts to roll over, I might have to just get out of the rest of it. It's getting down close to my break even here. See if it should, it's coming down to an area where it should bounce right at VWAP and moving average. It's 258-ish. Okay, let's see what it does on this bounce. SPY just rolled over, Q's rolled over. Apple's still sinking. Wow, Nvidia's right at PDC now. I'm gonna get out of the rest of my Tesla. I don't like it. Don't like the way it's trading now. Different energy. DVN popping up on the scanner. All right, so that's no trades for me now. No positions for me now. I was hoping for that 262. Might still get there, but I'm not liking the way the market kind of rolled, kind of tried to break out and then failed.
All right, guys. So as you're seeing here, so Brian took a couple of trades. He's out of all his trades now, and the market is turning around. So I'm looking at the overall SPY here, and we're starting to go red. Apple's going red as well. Two tickers in my list already, AMD and NVIDIA, are both in the red. So they're dropping, and let's see if that momentum is going to continue. Tesla's still holding. Actually, Tesla's trying to go higher towards the pre-market high. But usually when you start seeing this strong momentum towards the downside, things starts to get dragged down. So I think Tesla is going to be another one that might give in if it doesn't have a strong individual catalyst, which I believe nothing really does right now. Everything is just moving with the overall market, and you see the Qs are slightly down as well from the pre-market high. So is the SPY. So let's take a look on how that's going to be turning out in a couple of minutes here. DJT continues to drop, so still following on the 9 moving average. So again, not much happening there at the moment as far as an opportunity for us with no shares to short. Baidu was another one on our secondary list. If you guys remember that, we had this one on here. It had a sell-off from Friday, and then this morning gapped down quite a bit, and it continues on some weakness here. So if you're watching now, that could also been a good opportunity. Let's take a look at Macy's, and this is why I dislike Macy's so much. If you're watching the pre-market show, we talk about these stocks that don't trade very well. Macy's is on my top list of stocks that I wish could trade better, but they don't. Look how choppy this market open is, and this is always, not always, but for the most part, always happens with Macy's. Very, very choppy there. It looks to be breaking out now. Looks much better in the last couple of minutes, going towards the low of the pre-market, which is sitting right around 16, actually 16.01 is the low of the pre-market on Macy's. Let's see if it's going to go and test that there. Let's take a look in our chat. What are you guys calling out this morning? I see Tesla is on there. Good. INTC pushing higher by our good buddy Puppet Master. Yeah, INTC trying, right? But everything else is it's just getting too much pressure. Look at the Qs now. This market, I already see it. We're setting ourselves up for some choppy day today. If you look at the Qs right now, look at the Qs right now. It's just all the way down below the VWAP and now back above the VWAP. That's going to create a mess for a lot of the stocks on our list. And then the SPY, same thing. Just just this up and down action. Just a lot of indecision on what is next with the overall market. So let's see how that plays out. But back to Intel, you did mention that over here. Yeah, it's these these semiconductors and tech companies. They're not a semi, but they're they are semi actually. And these tech companies, they're very active. They're very active, especially Intel after. I don't recall what it was. I know they had the big gap down. They struggled to go higher. I mean, went sideways, went dead for a month and a half here. I forget what was that got them going again. I know there was an announcement of them doing some racks for Tesla. Was it Intel, I believe? That was Dell, I believe. But I don't know what got them going again. But you can see here much better trading over the last couple of days, and hopefully breaking out here as well. So that is Dell, and I also saw coin being mentioned. We know Bitcoin had a bit of a drop over the weekend, but then they came back again. Coin right now up 8%. Man, 3.1 million shares traded. How about Mara? Did Mara do anything? Yeah, Mara is crappy. But Coin, I tell you, Coin looking good right now, guys. 3.2 as far as volume traded, and it is up 8.1 this morning. So man, what a nice run. Started off with nothing. This is kind of why we dismissed it in the pre-market. We had nothing going on here, and then started a little rocky, and then it just took off here on Coin. Let's check the spread, right? Because the spread is usually one of the big issues for me on Coin, and right now we're looking at 30 cents, 40 cents. It gets a little crazy at times here. Yeah, I mean that's 50 cents there. So you just got to watch the spread on Coin. Coin, 50 cents is a little bit on the high end for a $235 stock. I mean, yeah, that's got to be careful with that when you're getting in here. Make sure it's not showing north of 50 cents, a dollar or so. I seen a dollar on Coin. The spread is so bad, and a lot of this is due to the lack of volume that you're getting on these individual candles. So just be careful on this one. You can still trade it, just manage your risk accordingly. All right, now I want to go back to the SPY again, right? Look at the SPY now, not soy. That's good, but not for now. But SPY to VWAP back down. So the volatility today is just insane. Hopefully this is not causing havoc on your trading this morning. I mean, you could be seeing something great. Next thing you know, it's jumping the other way just because the markets are having their way today. The Qs don't look any better right now. They're all over the place as far as movement, up and down, every candle overlapping the previous one here on the 5-minute. Usually not a good indication for certain opportunities. So just be mindful of that. I think it's a slow start to the week. And we need to be patient as things settle down. And then maybe closer at 10:30, 11 o'clock, we'll see things kind of get into a better rhythm than they are right now. So, friends, remember we're trying out a new format for our market open. We'll be diving into the chat room here and there as there's position that they're taking live. But if you want to see Brian and Andrew's not on today; he's off. But if you want to see Brian trading live, you can with no delay. You can join the chat room to see that there. But we'll be tuning into him whenever he takes a trade. We'll see what's happening there, and we're also going to be bringing in new guests going forward. So, for example, today we have Jared coming in at 10. We'll be tuning into him and chatting with him in a couple of minutes. So stick around for that, and let us know if you like this type of new format. This way, we're covering a lot of the desk space that can happen when Brian and Andrew are really focusing on just trading and doing their thing. So let us know in the comments. We will love your support on the likes as well. Right now we are sitting at, if I look, 340 with 562 people watching. So we'd love to get that a little bit higher as we continue to do this live show for you guys on YouTube. So really appreciate that. All right, let's take a look at our watch list again. Tesla, there we go. Tesla is going. I think Brian already got out of this, unfortunately, but because you did have a very deep pullback. But look at that, going towards that 260. That is your high of the pre-market. So man, this stock is just crushing it. So high of the pre-market there being tested. You also got a couple of levels here on the daily. Look at a few days last week, right? That has been resistance. The next one I see is 270. And man, what a change direction on Tesla starting in mid-June, right? So all of June really stuck. End of June, July, it got really going here. And it's a whole different type of trading company the last few weeks. So, and we're enjoying it. We're really enjoying the way this thing is moving. All right, want to see live trading? Oh, yeah. If you want to see live trading, you definitely can, my friend. Join for the chat room. So live trading in the chat room, you can take a look at what Brian is doing there. And he's trading live right now for our members in chat. All right, so that is Tesla. Mara right now pretty much sideways at the moment. Apple is dropping a little bit. AMD is, NVIDIA. NVIDIA in the red, trying to get going again. I do like some of the action we're getting here as far as volume. And then the coin is trying to hold and get back higher if it can. So we'll see what happens there this morning. All right, guys. So Jared in about 5 minutes. But first, let's go into Brian and see what Brian is doing now. He is still looking at Tesla. I'm not sure if he got back in. Now he's looking at AMD. Let's see if he's trading AMD this morning. We'll come back and join you guys with Jared in just a second.
Really sold off hard. Going into the close, which was kind of a weird day. But a lot of last week's action, we kept gapping, not coming back and retesting areas where there was high volume the previous day. So been doing that a fair amount. That's kind of an indication that it's mostly sort of momentum traders, which tend to have weak hands. Those aren't the funds and the firms that are taking positions for longer term. All right, just kind of what I suspected. AMD is going to bounce here, getting some orders now to the upside, sort of finding a bottom here, finding some buyers. Qs and SPY kind of bouncing back a little bit here. Yeah, Tesla's eating away at that 162, right? There's some more orders to the upside there. Again, I don't have a trade book. Netflix. Wow, Netflix is kicking it today. I'm looking at Netflix options right now. They're so expensive. 660s, which is pretty much at the money. For the end of the week, their cost $28. Oh, you know why that is. That's because that's because Netflix is reporting on Thursday. That's why the premium is so elevated. Now all of a sudden, it actually doesn't seem like that much. It's less than a 10% move. DJT, you're looking at a nice bottom. You're checking out the bottom on DJT. Yeah, NVIDIA rejected at the 9 EMA. The AMD is still using the 9 EMA as resistance on the 2-minute chart. Tesla couldn't get past 262. Yeah, just missed a 920 on Apple. Apple broke through the 9, rejected at the 20. See, Netflix. It's a big order at 661 and 662.
All right, guys. So you're seeing Brian trading live there in our chat room. So again, if you're interested in joining that, you can do so. We got tons of memberships over at bearboottrades.com that you can check out and join the chat room for live trading. All right, guys, we have someone here which has been part of this community for a very, very long time. His name is Jared, and Jared does a lot for the community with options and getting us ready for the week in the trading. He actually, if you're not on the members, he's actually on way before me and Peter are on doing the pre-market. So he's on at 8 a.m. with engineering the market. So he does a lot there to kind of get our traders ready for the week. Big overall picture of what the overall market is doing. And we have him this morning with us. So good morning, Jared. How you doing today? Oh, got no audio? Make sure you're not on mute. All right, we'll wait to get that audio taken care of there.
Jared. Oh no, Jared.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll test. Alexander Jared is the man. So if you guys been in the pre-market in the chat room before us, he is doing a lot there and putting a lot of stuff together. So we'll wait to hear from Jared. Wait for him to come back. Brian was mentioning Netflix.
Do you want me to do a fake voiceover? We can put you and Jared on the video on the screen, and I'll pretend to just be Jared.
Yeah, right.
I get to make up what everybody says.
Oh man, that'll be good. We should try that one day in our after-hours show where we get crazier than we do here. We should do some kind of skit like that. That'll be a lot of fun. We're looking at Netflix. Peter, Brian mentioned Netflix in the chat. I'm sure you heard him as well. And this thing is taking off as well, doing pretty nice. It is up 2.2, 681,000 shares traded. So that is doing awesome. Didn't have it on my list because, again, they don't have much going on. It's just started to get going here this morning. Peter, how has the trading been for you this morning? It's been good for some people, but choppy from others. A lot of people in the chat I'm seeing as well getting stopped out. Just again, things keep coming back and forth. Seems like a choppy start to the market.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a choppy start. I can actually share some of my trading. I tried to trade Macy's off the open. Let me just show you some charts here. Let me see what we can do here. Hold on a sec. There we go. And you can see I have a rising devil trade. Try to trade at the open. Macy's just wasn't cooperating. It was jumping up and down. Sort of made some of the right
Mm.
moves, but you can see I got in. I got a partial and it got stopped out for a loss on the remaining shares. I tried again and it was just so bouncy. I tried to get it to break even, but had some slippage. And then once I saw it was finally moving and breaking what I considered the pre-market lows there, or at least the area that it had shown some like indecision pre-market. I went short again with a very, very tight stop. Got some good partials, but when it came back out, came back up, I got stopped at break even. So net across these trades, I actually was profitable, but not by much. I mean, pretty slow trading day for me. Now I'm just waiting for my later in the day trade setups, which will be happening. Sometime between 10:30 and noon. Usually is when they set up. So that was my trading morning so far. Pretty light. I'm not a very active trader right at the open, and my style is one where I've got set strategies that I trade, and if they don't set up, then I just sit and wait and watch, and I'm perfectly fine with that. That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
one.
And that is why I find Macy so difficult at times, man. It just does that to me
It
quite a bit.
is.
So for a 5 minute RB trader, it is a tough ticker because I would have been
It's
stopped
a tough
out
one.
a couple of times
Yeah.
here. Yeah, it is. All right, let's take a look at some of the stocks we've been watching all morning, guys. So Tesla was on our list and on many of our moderators' lists as well. So Tesla's one that we've been watching quite often. Hit the high of the pre-market
Good
and now struggling.
morning. Good morning. Good
Hey,
We
morning.
have
there he
we
is.
have Jared. Jared,
All
good morning,
right.
my friend. How are you?
Doing well. Multiple reboots apparently fix the issue. So good morning
Sometimes
to you,
that is what we
Carlos.
need.
Yep.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, so tell us a bit about the first. Tell us a bit about the pre-market show, and I know you do a lot of stuff there, but also tell us this week, obviously a very eventful week given what's taking place over the weekend, right? With the attempt assassination on Donald Trump. Give us an idea of what this week could look like. We're already seeing a little bit of choppiness, which we kind of expected. But what's your take about this overall week?
So I think last week kind of painted a possible picture as to what's to come. There's certainly a little bit more information needed, but we got a lot of data on Thursday and Friday that was suggesting that the market may start to shift away from really what's been in focus for the entire year, which has been the larger mega market cap tech stocks. And as we proceed into this week, we're really trying to see if the divergence that we saw on Thursday and Friday, it was very mild in the grand scheme of things, but certainly noticeable for those sessions. We want to make sure that that's not either going to continue and we could take advantage of maybe some downside in tech stocks, or potentially start to look for new long opportunities in, I'll say, rate sensitive names. And that's kind of where my focus has shifted, at least in the short term, until we get more clarity from probably the overall market and how we respond to that data.
Yeah, I'm seeing that here as well. And tell me a little bit about the sectors like, and we've been talking about Nvidia, we're talking about AMD and all these semis. We've seen some kind of a slowdown in their growth besides AMD. I don't know what's going on with AMD. It just starts to take off. What's your take on the AI movement? And I know a lot of that money has been transitioning elsewhere. What is your overall take on that?
Well, I think the overall cyclicality of that group of stocks will continue. It may just not be as concentrated in the leadership that we've been seeing, and more so looking for maybe some catch up in stocks that have at least a narrative towards AI and haven't necessarily performed on the year. One of the names that popped up probably last week and the week prior was Tesla. And while we don't necessarily categorize that as an AI stock, it finally defined a narrative towards that type of growth in its company. And while the stock is not green on the year, it has performed ever since we got that news. So we're looking kind of for those laggard effects as money either rotates from our leadership group or starts to find at least good RVR, risk and reward, across maybe some small to medium caps, something maybe with a little bit less market cap driving the asset. So I know Tesla's not in that category, but it was our only bearish Mag 7 type stock on the year. And that unfortunately continues to remain true. It just had a really nice move last week and the week prior. So
Yeah. So yes, that's kind of all the questions I had. I know you had some stuff to share with us this morning. We'd love to get to that, and then if we have time, we'll take one or two questions from our YouTube chat here. So yeah, I'll let you at it.
Okay. Yeah, so I think if we shift over to the trading terminal, just the main page, and really just take a look at that last week in sector performance or anything of the like, you can start to kind of see the highlighting of what took place on the CPI and PPI data events. We're finally starting to see, of course, the small caps in the Russell 2000 finally perform on the year. And maybe more from a sector view, we're actually seeing maybe some new leadership start to show on last week's trade. While not necessarily seeing as much downside as expected maybe in the tech names, as that Friday recovery kind of reverberated back in the face of Thursday's sell-off. I'm certainly looking towards either continuation in our consumer discretionary group, because a lot of that rebound that we saw within the likes of Tesla and even Amazon may have some continuation outside of, let's say, the information technology sector. But go ahead and pull up, let's say, year to date on our normalized market performance, and you'll kind of see that sharp divergence that took place last week, where obviously the NASDAQ is coming off of its high just a little bit, but the Russell or the IWM finally performing on the year and actually rebounding off of year to date open. So those are kind of some of the early signals that something may be taking a shift. And like always, we just want to be aware of maybe some profit taking in the larger tech names. How far that resolves to the downside is kind of yet to be seen, while also looking maybe for some new opportunities to the upside. I'm definitely scouting groups like materials, which tend to have a little bit of a lean on, let's say, any sort of renewed enthusiasm within the real estate sector. And then, of course, real estate itself. Both very rate sensitive groups, in line with some of the data we got last week. So those are the larger, I think, themes and maybe some sentiment shift that's starting to show. As far as performance is concerned, those are obviously going to take a little bit more time to kind of see the full effect. But last week was definitely a larger name change as to who kind of had the baton. And then in regards to what took place over the weekend, certainly just adding some volatility back into stocks like DJT. Pretty sure all of our YouTube crew and maybe even some traders in the chat room had that on the watch list this morning. Not necessarily saying bull or bear there. I think it just adds a little bit of a renewed volume to an asset that kind of carries the name of the target in focus. And for the most part, really just looking for some new sentiment shift, whether it be that particular stock, trying to find things that maybe align with a probability shift of who's going to maybe be favored for the election itself, and then trying to kind of speculate towards what the end of year election cycle might look like for the market. Obviously, I think keeping the market relatively strong and healthy is going to be the larger overall impact. But as we move closer towards the FOMC meeting towards the end of July, that's going to offer us, one, obviously some probability pricing into the marketplace, and two, if rate sensitivity stocks start to really shine, then maybe taking some of the shine off of the tech stocks and maybe looking for some new watch list candidates. Just having a better span of stocks to trade with volume behind them. So,
Yeah,
what are
excellent.
you?
We got a great question, which I think you kind of answered from Nathan over on YouTube. What rate of averse stocks are you keeping an eye on? But I think you kind of answered which ones are more rate sensitive. But any specific ones that you have that maybe are not so affected by rates?
Not so affected. So there's sort of three categories I lean on, and you will have to do a little bit of digging to find the individual names, but oftentimes the mega market cap tech stocks are going to be highly immune to any sort of rate sensitivity effects that are going on. That's one of the reasons why there was such a strong leadership group, as we weren't seeing rate cuts at all at the beginning of the year, and yet we obviously rallied 25% in the Nasdaq, and certain key names over 100%. So very keen on the leadership side towards no rate cut environment, but moving into a rate cut environment, I'm actually looking more for things that were somewhat suppressed in their performance. Maybe they had relatively high debt load, and that debt load might start to be relieved as rates start to come back down. Anything that's a bit inflation sensitive, those names are going to start to perk up, and we obviously saw some sharp rebound on those names last week. You certainly want to start digging in your industrial sector, your real estate sector. I'm looking towards materials, things like lumber, steel. Those are going to kind of have sort of a net effect towards those sort of producer to consumer economic relationships. And really anything that I would kind of consider more of a growth name. Those haven't quite shown up yet, but I think keeping an eye out for those, you might start to scout some early entries and maybe some bigger trend changes starting to take place. Those are going to be more towards the higher debt load and therefore a bit more speculative. But I'll sort of end on the note of the idea that stocks tend to move in pretty clear cycles. Leadership needs to then move into laggards or something that's maybe not as performant. And then if we are talking about something ending, I would want to see some trash companies start to rally. And it's hard to define what's a trash company without offending people, but ultimately just
Blow the
looking for
garbage
that
trucks.
rotation. Yeah, exactly. Just looking for volatility where it hasn't been, and we'll start to see it as we trade throughout the rest of the year. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jared, man. I appreciate you coming on. And if you guys want to hear more from Jared, he's on every Thursday. Well, he's on every morning, Monday to Friday, Monday to Thursday, engineering the markets in our chat room. So if you want to join, you can do that. And he's also has his options trading mentorship every Thursday at 2 p.m. And Jared, I'm not sure, do you have any courses on Trading Terminal, any new ones, Trading Academy?
No, nothing yet.
Yeah, okay. We'll be looking forward to that, man. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Carlos.
All right, friends, let's take a look at what's happening on the overall market right now. I see the SPYs kind of just heading high, which is not doing a whole lot, just kind of stumbling there a little bit. The Qs, same thing, not a whole lot happening there. Tesla broke out of the pre-market high of 262.09, going towards 265 and climbing, man. This thing is on fire this morning. Mara kind of struggling a little bit here, not much continuation. Apple, also the same thing, not much happening there. Tesla seems to be the only one that's really rocking this morning. AMD just wrapping itself around the previous day close. NVIDIA is another one that's in the red as well. So a little bit of a drop this morning and has not been able to recover. And then Coin is the other one that's actually doing pretty good, up 8.9, 237.50 right now. It had a good start to the market open so far. So again, pretty decent continuation here on Coin and on Apple. I'm sorry, not Apple, Tesla, but for the most part, things are stuck. They're not really breaking out as much as I would like. SPY, if we can get the SPY to break out, maybe we can see some more action out of that. But right now, things are not the best market open. That is for sure. All right, let's see what our buddy are doing over in our members tab. Let's see how the trading is going there. I'm going to tune into our good buddy Brian, who is also Jared will be joining him trading as well. He's looking at Tesla. Let's see how that is going there.
I have my travel computer. I don't have to
Yes,
unplug all my. I don't
that's
have
what
to unplug.
we were
Yeah.
saying. Maybe get you a hidden account. Like this isn't
Yeah.
Brian per se, but Brian is the beneficiary of this
Yeah.
So
No, it's usually when things screw up is when, like I said, I have to disconnect shit to take it on the road, and then reconnecting it, and then it doesn't work exactly the way it's supposed to. I had the same problem when I tried to post a video on the weekend. It didn't. I had to pull it down because the video portion didn't come out, so I had to redo it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
Netflix.
We identified some long on DJT. This would be my all out on a bounce on DJT. It's the 4250 range. It's kind of a 50% retrace off the open, and we were starting to see some long bias off the 1 minute, kind of a inverse head and shoulder that was showing up. I had to cover just to be able to focus on YouTube, but I definitely think that was a good opportunity if you wanted to catch along. It just might be ending at this point. Let's see what else we got.
So you got a nice bounce off that, around 30, 38, 39 area?
Exactly. Yeah, I was kind of risking another 39 flush at the turnaround points there, and then just adding into the rally because we had to clear 40 to really trigger it.
Right. Because it said, because when I was looking at it this morning, it said, I think it said there were no shares for short, but now
Correct.
It looks like, now it says there's 6,000 shares that are shortable.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if anything, maybe getting some puts off the open. That was the only really way to kind of play that morning orb setup, because it definitely was a 1 minute orb kind of setup. Let's see. And unfortunately, I'm not watching all the same names as usual, so my watch list is a little divergent from y'all. I've got Mara. I don't love it. We filled the gap, and then there's not a lot of follow through yet, so it's kind of struggling in the gap fill. Back here on the daily, Coin had more room to run, but you had to kind of get it off the morning too.
Affirm is really breaking out for some reason, and UPST. I don't know why that would be. Aren't these both sort of buy now, pay later stocks?
Yes, but they're also heavy debt load, rate sensitive stocks.
Okay, yeah.
And if the theme is changing, then those might start to offer some upside here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Upstart returning back to 30s. And a firm coming off of a low. Might be some new trend changes starting. It's just hard to tell when they first start. But Affirm doesn't look half bad down here.
Yeah.
Might offer some swings later.
All right, here we go with Tesla. I'm gonna get, maybe this is the 265 push now.
Let's see.
Where are we?
Y'all are Tesla out again.
Yeah, just AMD finally broke above VWAP. Q still threatening, and the SPY still threatening to break out here.
Yeah, those sellers came in at R3 and completely gave up.
Yeah,
I mean, they tried, but now we're kind of sitting over them, so now it's a flag to get out higher. Not sure where the bulls want to go though. I mean, I'm guessing Friday high.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's not like we have a ton of weakness in tech this morning. Most things are flat or green.
Yeah, the IWM is up the most here. Again, 1.6%.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Russell's still in the lead from last week, but the Nasdaq isn't bearish at all. So
No,
everything's still kind of pointing a little higher right now. It's just some are moving faster. Let's look at the Russell here. 2000. Yeah. It's pretty good AD on the Russell today and good money flow. So
yeah. Well, it was really obvious on Thursday how
yeah,
when we got that rate drop and the money just poured out of tech and into the small caps.
but what's so funny about that is like we didn't lose tech, we just gained small cap.
Yeah.
So now it's like how many bull markets are there?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Now it's just
Everything.
full bore,
Yeah, everything's going up.
But I am expecting some damage in tech. It's just not showing yet. I think the Russell is just gonna continue to push while tech maybe goes sideways on the bigger time frames.
Right. Yeah.
Thoughts on a meta long? I don't love it. I think intraday it could hold, but we already saw some pretty sharp rejection or failure at meta's highs. So the rebounds right now need to be thought of as like shoulder kind of opportunities. Intraday it looks okay. I'm not going to short it on the upswing, but it's not my favorite. If it displaces, then that would be.
All right, guys, you've been seeing Jared actually and Brian trading live there, going back and forth on some things. But yeah, we're getting ready to wrap up our show here, guys. Looking at our watches again, things are starting to trend nicely. Tesla is still doing some good stuff here, looking very strong. Maverick's just garbage. I mean, can we get this thing a garbage truck so late in the day here? I think we can. This is nice garbage stock there, so I don't like it at all. Next on here, we have Apple. It's just kind of moving sideways. So I'm going to be waiting to see if that can break out in any direction. We have AMD, Nvidia, and Coin, which I'm surprised how well Coin traded here. I did not have it on my list. You guys mentioned it here in our chat. So definitely, Mara was not the one to watch today. It was Coin. You YouTube guys, I forgot who mentioned it. They were looking at that one. So hopefully you took advantage of that trade. So friends over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Andrew will be trading live tomorrow unless he's jumping out of a plane today or doing something crazy. He should be live tomorrow, Peter. I don't know what to tell you. I know it was last week, but who
I think
knows?
he's done with that. Hopefully,
he liked it so much he might do it again. What do you think?
Well, I don't know, but maybe, but probably not likely. Anyways, hopefully he's back with us tomorrow. Yeah, good. A little bit of a choppy trading morning. While Jared was talking, I did try and take a short off of Tesla. I am a short bias trader, so I was top ticking it. Got a little bit of some profit, and then got stopped out as Tesla went back to the high. So we'll keep watching here. There's more trading to be had. So
yeah,
trade smart out there, everybody.
I did not know you were somewhat of a short bias trader. Did not know that. That's new. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So definitely like 80-20, 70-30. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, it's like 80-20. It's stark. It's
wow.
I wish I could be more
stark.
comfortable long, but I am definitely short bias. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So some opportunities here if Tesla can reverse. Friends over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:30. Peter and I will get you going, get you started for the day. We're sitting at 375. Thank you so much for the likes, and have a great trading day. We'll see you guys.
Take care, everybody. Trade smart.